This Lakers team is one of the most confusing teams I've ever seen. And the reason it's confusing is because, they win the in-season tournament and it's like, oh wow, this Lakers team, they're really starting to figure it out. They're looking great. They're rounding into form. And now you fast forward a few weeks later and they lost 3 straight. They lost 9 of 12. They lost to the Heat last night in a game where Jimmy Butler didn't play. Bam and Hero combined to shoot 12 of 33. Lakers are at home and they still lost by 14. Listen to how crazy this Lakers team is right now. What if I told you before the season that LeBron James and Anthony Davis would totally be doing their thing? Both are playing like top 10 players. And not only that, but both have missed a combined, between the two of them, only 5 games through 35 games of the season. LeBron's missed 3, AD's missed 2. Their defense is top 10 in the league. Austin Reaves is still playing at a really high level, showing that last year wasn't a fluke. If I told you those 3 bits of information before the season, you would assume that the Lakers are one of the best teams in the West and not 1 game below 500 like they currently are after last night's loss to the Heat. It got me really confused. Why is this the case? Again, you look at all the stuff that's working in their favor. You consider the fact that most of this team was the same core that got to the Western Conference Finals last year. What is the issue? But then I started looking more deeper into the subject, and I think I found the answer. And again, it just adds to the confusion, which is that the Lakers have a lot of solid role players, but they don't have a lot of two-way role players. All of the supporting cast around LeBron, AD, and Reaves, they're either really good on offense or really good on defense. Let's run through it right now. Jared Vanderbilt, in terms of on-off numbers per cleaning the glass, he's been a net negative at both ends. Now, in fairness, he is supposed to be a defensive specialist, and he's missed 20-plus games. So you hope that, as he gets more into a rhythm, as he gets his legs underneath him, he's at least going to be a positive on defense. Rui Hachimura, 37% from 3, but negative at the defensive end. Cam Reddish, 80th percentile on defense according to cleaning the glass, but he's shooting under 30% from 3. And then there's D'Angelo Russell, 39% from 3, but a negative on defense. We all know the kind of pieces you need around a LeBron James-led team. We know the recipe of success for a LeBron James and Anthony Davis-led team. It's 3-and-D guys. And right now, the Lakers either get the 3 from a player or the defense, but they're not getting both from either, and it's led to a lot of chaos in terms of the lineups. So who's at fault for that? One, it is Rob Pelinka. I don't want to criticize him too much, because again, this was most of the same team that made the Western Conference Finals last year, and a lot of people really like the team that the Lakers came into the season with. But it's very clear, at least right now, that this Lakers team is flawed. They need guys who could do it at both ends, who are not going to be a liability at one end. But you could also make the argument that despite whatever concerns or questions you might have about the roster, one of the reasons it's not being maximized to its full potential is because of the head coach. And when you have it, literally after last night's performance, Shams Charania put out a tweet saying, there is currently a growing disconnect between Darvin Ham and the locker room stemming from disjointness around rotations and adjustments. And so that speaks to what I just said, right? Whatever problems a roster may have, you have to figure out how to make lemonade out of whatever lemons you have. Maybe that might be unfair depending on the roster, but again, this was the same team, or most of the same team, that got to the Western Conference Finals last year. So it's hard for me to feel so much sympathy for Darvin Ham, again, despite the very real issues that this roster has. I can only feel so bad when we saw this team be really successful last year. What's changed? What are you not doing this year compared to last year? Because last year he deserved all the credit in the world for helping get the Lakers to the Western Conference Finals. But it's a two-way street. If we're going to give you all the praise when it's still going well, then we also got to criticize you when it's not. And right now, it just seems like he doesn't really know how to piece together a rotation that works. And again, it is a difficult puzzle to solve when guys are only contributing at one end, but that's just the job. That's the unfortunate reality. And again, you proved you could do it last year, so I don't really know what's changed between then and now. And so it definitely seems like Ham is going to get fired at some point, because that report doesn't just come out by accident. Shams didn't just luck his way into that report. That's people within the organization putting pressure on the higher-ups to make a change. And so now it just seems like a matter of not if, but when that change is going to happen. And you also have to wonder if it's going to come with any moves at the deadline. Maybe it's for Zach LaVine. Maybe the Lakers want to go the blockbuster route. Or maybe they'll use one of their picks to bring in a guy like Dorian Finney-Smith. I saw was a hypothetical trade candidate they could go out and get from Brooklyn. That would definitely solve some of the imbalance in terms of either getting offense or defense. Dorian Smith can provide both. He's a true 3-and-D guy. And there's definitely part of me that's confident in Darvin Ham's ability to right the ship, again, because of the success he showed us last year with basically this same roster. But then there's also part of me that's just it feels like the Lakers are gonna, make some serious changes over the next few weeks, whether that's coach, whether that's a trade. It feels inevitable at this point. And yeah, like I said, super weird situation going on with the Lakers.